So, with a lot of news coming out about, how, you know, governments, state governments, and even the national government is trying to handle the unvaccinated, as well as trying to combat the variant, the Delta variant, that seemingly, depending on who you are, is even affecting the vaccinated, but mostly that could be contributed to the partially vaccinated, not fully vaccinated, because they're not. Now that's one thing I will say about the media. They're not saying exactly who the vaccinated is that's getting affected by the variant, but a lot of the news media has, but not a lot of news media, but the media that does seemingly want to tell the truth, or at least it's more straightforward with you, has said that even the doctors that they've talked to have said that it's mainly the partially vaccinated that's getting affected by the Delta variant right now. But anyway, with all the news and everything coming out about trying to deal with this in some way, try to get people motivated to get vaccinated, try to get those that don't trust the vaccine to get vaccinated, we're starting to hear all about these mask requirements. Sometimes people unvaccinated still have to be masked, some that don't need to be some that are fully vaccinated don't need it, or there are some places that both vaccinated and unvaccinated have to wear a mask. And we're hearing all these things happening, and we're also hearing now that federal and public workers and any workers of any kind I should say, are being told to get the vaccine or get vaccinated, or choose to get tested every day. Basically you come in, you get tested, and whether or not you have the virus will be determined right then and there, if you know what I mean. So you're hearing all this stuff going on because with the positive news, the silver lining, that right now we're at nearly 55%, I should say, on average, of most of the country being fully vaccinated, which I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't say is a good number, but it's a silver lining of a number like, hey, it's above the halfway point of, hey, we could stay kind of normal right now and not worry about anything. There's still that determined goal to get us up to a more decent number to where we don't have to really worry about it that much. And I think that decent number is 75%. And I think with everything going on and all this stuff happening, that what I said one time in a video after I got my second shot of the Mandura vaccine, that I think it's close to being a reality. And I know people don't want to have the hands forced into doing something they don't want to do, but if this is the last and only course they could take, or one of the last courses they could take to make sure people get vaccinated one way or another, I think what's going to happen is fines are going to get issued. I really do. I think fines are going to be the next step that gets issued, and they're going to be very strong, financially strong, big time fines. We could be looking at fines that, you would say, oh well, $100, that's not going to hurt me and everything. No, we could be looking at fines that could get mounted up to the thousands or maybe the 500s to 1,000s or maybe 250s. It'll be a number, I guarantee you, depending on where you live here in the country, that would be enough to get you to be like, all right, fine, I'll get the damn vaccine. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think I think nationally, the government's going to have no choice, or state-wise, state governments are going to have no choice, and they're going to come out and say, hey, look, you get vaccinated or you get fined. And I think that's going to be the next step. And I know, like I said, people don't want to have their hands forced, but if the government and the CDC and all of them believe, from their point of view, that the best way to basically motivate you or get you to get vaccinated, I should say, is hit you where it matters the most, and that's in the pocket, that's in the wallet, then that's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully some people do wise up and realize, yeah, I do need to get the vaccine, whether I like it or not, or whether I believe it's necessary or not. Hopefully people do wise up to it. But right now, I think, and this is mere speculation, mere opinionated speculation, that the next step they're going to take is going to be, issuing fines. And And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that as a potential last resort that the government will take, or the CDC will take, or any of them will take, but don't be surprised if that happens. Don't be surprised if that happens, because what you're doing, what people are doing, is they're forcing the hand of the government. And whether you believe a word the government or the news media or any of them say, you're forcing their hand to do something that you fear they're going to do anyway. You're forcing their hand into doing it. And you shouldn't be doing, and that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. You should be, as an individual, wise enough to realize, look, I may not like, the idea that I have to get a shot of something that I don't believe is necessary or I don't trust. But, if it's going to get us out of this situation, then so be it. I mean, you can't wait until 2022 or even as far as 2023 for the FDA to come out and say, hey, we give the thumbs up for pharmacies and over-the-counter places to give the shots and all that to combat this. You can't wait that long, because the longer you wait, the worse it might get. And I know you hear all these news of, the Delta variant even affecting those that are vaccinated. Well, guess what? What they probably don't tell you, but others are reporting, is it's mostly the partially vaccinated. That's what it is. It's mostly the partially vaccinated, or those whose immune systems are not adjusting to the vaccine as well as people thought they would. That's what's happening. And look, I don't blame people for when they hear something like that, for being more hesitant to want to take the shots or get the vaccines. I don't blame you, but do you really want to have all of the country regress back because you didn't want to take the shot? Do you want everybody pointing the finger at you because you refused to take one shot, or just one shot a month, basically or one shot every for the next 2 months, basically to prevent any kind of disease coming your way or anybody else's way? Do you want the finger pointed at you? I wouldn't. So if I'm you, and this is just my opinion, I would consider it. I would really reconsider it. And if I'm you and I look at my wallet, if you will, and I'm saying to myself, do I want that wallet to be a lot lighter than it should, with the potential that the next step that the governments could take, and we know this is a potential realization that could happen, is handing out fines to those that are not vaccinated. If you don't want your wallet to be any lighter, I would consider doing it. I would. And you might ask yourself, well, how would they know if I'm not vaccinated? Here's the thing. You think they hand out cards, if you will, like these? You think they hand out cards like those, with your name on it, checking out what vaccine you got and everything? You think, they hand that out to you without also having it now on record that you, on public record I should say, that you got vaccinated? Of course they wouldn't. They wouldn't do that unless they ended up getting your name on public record of being vaccinated. So if they have your name on public record as being vaccinated, then who's to say they don't have your name on record of those? So who's to say they don't have the name of those on record, on public record, that have not been vaccinated? Just saying. So if they look through the public records and they see, okay, this person's vaccinated, that person's vaccinated, oh, but this person's not vaccinated, don't think for a moment that they're not going to basically start issuing fines if that happens. If it happens, if fines are announced as a last resort to get people vaccinated, don't be surprised if you get a notice in your notice in your mail telling you being fined or issued a fine of, let's say, $1,000 or $500 because you don't want to get the vaccine, or $250 at the least, or the less, I should say. Don't be surprised by that. Don't be surprised if that happens. Not saying it will, because hopefully people will, start getting the vaccine and, just, let their immune system, adjust to it and see what happens. But again, do you really want it to be hurt where it hurts the most, right here financially? I wouldn't. But it potentially could happen. Potentially fines could be the next step. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Let me hear what you have to say about the situation. Do you think fines will be that next resort, if not last resort, that the government takes to get people fully vaccinated? What are your thoughts? Comment down below in the comment section. Like the video. Let me know what your thoughts are on the live chat during the premiere. And I will talk to you all later.